trajectory alpha 24 degrees. Speed 73,000 miles per second. Distance 180,000 miles. Our computer is picking up a strange signal.
Those damn signals are damaging Earth's radio waves. Deep into Omega Sector.
So, it is September 4th. It's about 1:30ish in the PM. Just walked around the mall for like an hour and a half or so. Got myself a random Starbucks drink. Bought a few other random things. Figured I'd try something different with the camera because I got the car today. Just for like the next hour or so, but just because.
Angle of trajectory alpha 24 degrees. Speed 73,000 miles per second.
Don't really have a whole lot going on. Just a random mishmash of whatever the fuck happens. Yesterday, I was over at a friend's house, Carolyn's house, and me and Josh were trying to edit some of Signal Lost 2 Dark Days. Check us out on facebook.com/signal.lost.movie. So, yay, shameless plug. So, I was over there. We were editing a decently important part of the movie, decently important scene of the movie, and I think the scene that we were editing went very well. I shot like half an hour worth of footage that I was going to compile together into a behind the scenes of the editing room, so that everybody can kind of see what we do when we're editing. And I was going to compile that together and work on that today instead of this. But my phone, this lovely piece of equipment which I'm recording on right now, decided I didn't have enough space to compile that 30-minute clip, which is funny because if you're watching this on either Facebook or YouTube, you would realize that my most recent video was over 50 minutes long. So a half-hour video really shouldn't be that big of a deal. My friend Josh pointed out to me that my phone records in a higher quality than it outputs in. So when I was downloading videos to compile that 50-minute video that I posted, those videos were in a lower quality and thus didn't take up as much space. So okay, I get it. The tech specs say that it's going to take up a little bit more space. But anyway, when I went to go, I had 30 minutes of footage on my phone. And when I went to go edit it, it let me edit everything just fine. And when I went to go output the video, it told me, you don't have enough space. You don't have any amount of space. You can't even record another minute because that's how much space you don't have. I was like, okay, well, shit. What I usually do in those situations is, do I have a green light? No, I have a red light. What I normally do in those situations is I clip out different videos, email them to myself so that I can delete them off of my phone, and then after I delete them off of my phone, I edit the little bits that I have into one file, put it at a slightly lower quality rate so that I can save space, delete the other videos, and then re-download the ones I didn't use. It's a long, ridiculous, stupid process, but that's what I do when I'm editing a video on my phone. I don't have a computer that I can edit shit on, I'm sorry. But when I did this, it didn't delete the ones that I wanted it to, it deleted all of them. fuck? So, yeah, I don't have any footage from that, so I'm sorry. The good news is we're still in the process of editing the movie, so it's not like I can't do that again. I just lost half an hour of fucking random editing footage that it really wasn't great. Like, out of the half hour of footage I shot, I could probably only realistically edit together 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, but it still would have been something, you know, just to kind of show everybody, hey, we've been working on the project. It's just, you know, not exciting. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't have anything to show for that. I'm sorry. But yeah, sorry.
Angle of trajectory alpha 24 degrees. Speed 73,000 miles per second.
When I said random mishmash of shit that happens, well, this is something random. So, I was listening to one of my podcasts called Grumpy Old Geeks. It's two guys that talk about geek news and, you know, stuff that interests them and also interests me because it's geeky shit. And they mention that in one of the articles that they were reporting on, people can hack your Wi-Fi router now and can not only determine when you're home, when you're not home by your internet usage, but also by the signal strength of the router. Because basically the human body is a bag of salt water and meat. So the signal strength that varies from place to place, from transmitter to receiver, what it has to transmit through in order to get to the receiver varies depending on what there is. If there's a wall, if there's concrete, if there's wood, the signal strength varies. And science has actually determined what the signal strength of a Wi-Fi router produces through a human body. Not only that, but because every human body is different, you could actually program a router to identify a given person, after trial and error, mind you, so that way you can determine not only how many people are in your house, but who is in your house, simply through using the wireless router and some familiar technology. And I thought that was a little fucking creepy. I mean, just imagine, you know, say you're on vacation, you've gone to, you know, Disney World, you know, you're going to be there for a week or whatever the case is, you've gone out of country, and your phone alerts you to say, hey, there's somebody in your house. Because this watery bag of meat is walking through your house and it's moving a metal object. Somebody's stealing your TV. And the Wi-Fi router knows, not your security camera, because, you know, thieves know to look for cameras. They know to look for, you know, motion sensors. They know to look for heat sensors. They know, you know, they know biometrics. Hell, did you know that also on the Geek Podcast they put out that if you lock your phone, if you've got a phone that has fingerprint technology that you can lock your phone with your fingerprint, your biometric data is subject to police investigation. So if you lock, say you're a hacker and you use your phone to hack everything, if you lock your phone with your fingerprint, the police can seize your fingerprint and use it to unlock your phone to get that information. Now, if you lock your phone with a password or a code of some kind, that password and code, they cannot get a court order to do that. They can get a court order to seize your fingerprints because they need them for record, but they cannot get a court order to ask you for your password unless they have significant proof that that's what they need. So for anybody that keeps anything of relative value on, say, your phone, if it has the fingerprint technology, don't use your fingerprint. Use a code. Because biometric data, be it with your eyes, with your fingerprint, with your blood, anything like that, it's not foolproof. It's just as hackable, if not more easily obtainable than your actual password number or phrase or whatever you have. But just imagine you're on vacation and your phone alerts you to say, hey, there's someone stealing your shit. You should call the police because just imagine a series of these Wi-Fi routers throughout your neighborhood, throughout your apartment complex, whatever. All of these routers know, okay, Tim owns this router. His biometric, his body signature is this. So we know that whenever he goes into any residence, that's him because of how the signal strength of the router is. We know that that's him. Now just imagine if every person on the planet, because we're all subjected to all sorts of radio waves, cell phone signals, wireless signals, any number of signals on so many different levels that right now it is ridiculous. I could pull out my radio and pull up NOAA weather radio. I could pull up AM FM radio, and how many of these different businesses are using walkie radio transmissions to communicate with their employees, including the place that I work. You just imagine right now I am being bombarded with not only the solar radiation but AM, FM, RF, infrared, all sorts of different transmissions that there is no way to block all of these things unless I build myself a Faraday cage that you only see in the movies. And when you go to think about all of those movies that have that psycho hacker that's in this huge metal box of chain link and all this, that is really the only way that you can be in a private space, because legally, my being out here like this, legally there is no expectation of privacy. If I am out here having a conversation with you, with anybody, talking to myself, if somebody's listening in with a device from over there, hell, if they're looking at me from a satellite right now, they know exactly where I am and what I'm doing at all given points in time, if anybody wants to do that, because legally they can. There is no expectation of privacy when you're in a public place. Not to mention, if you're in a private space, if I am in my own home and the government or Cox, for example, Cox owns my modem. They do not own my wireless router. I own my wireless router. But if I decided to go with their upgrade or whatever and get their wireless router, they could use their wireless router to gather my biometric data so that they can identify me from that signal strength I was telling you about, communicate that with authorities of any measure, and now anytime I were to enter into somebody else's home, they have my biometrics, they know where I am at any given point in time, and then they can use me logging into any access point to know what I'm doing online, where I'm posting these videos, any given number of things. There are cameras nowadays where I can hold my hand up like this, just saying, oh God, whatever. And you can pull my fingerprints off of my hand from damn near a mile away. And that is perfectly legal. So if you think for any number of seconds that anything that you do in a given public space is private, it's not. There's no expectation of privacy, and that is the law. You can go and look that up. It's ridiculous. I can be behind this plaza, which is perfectly legal. There are no trespassing signs of any kind. I can walk behind this plaza, talk about whatever I want to whomever I want, but if the government or anybody so chooses to look at me and go through everything of mine, no matter where I go, unless I lock myself in a metal box, which is my own doing if I want to, but unless I lock myself in a metal box and exclude myself from everything which is the outside world, that is the only way you would have any real privacy. And that's a little fucked.
Sector.